Hello everyone, it's Everything Buzzity here, back again with another video. And I know it's been a couple days, but this has been a situation that I have been following and I have my opinions on, and I wanted to give a few days to just let everything process and in case any other information came out. But the NBA betting scandal that has happened with Chauncey Billups, the Cavs assistant coach that played with LeBron James, and with a former Charlotte Hornet and Terry Rozier, is just kind of terrible, and it's horrible. And betting has just, in my opinion, sports betting has destroyed the way we process sports, and particularly basketball and the NFL. Those are the two sports that I mainly watch and I understand. I got a text message, but now you're probably wondering, for anybody who doesn't know, what was the situation, right? What was Terry Rozier accused of? Maybe you want to know the things that happened with Chauncey Billups. I'll briefly touch on those because I mostly want to touch on Terry Rozier. Basically, Chauncey Billups was setting up rigged poker games, from what I understand, rigged poker games with the freaking mafia. And they had like these laser tech, these like sci-fi tech, like they would put contact lenses into their eyes and they would be able to read what cards the guys had in poker. I know nothing about poker, so I'm not even going to try to explain it, but let's just say it was next level cheating. It was pretty bad, bro. And the coach that formerly played with LeBron James got information that LeBron wasn't playing one night by LeBron, and then he told bettors he bet the under, blah blah blah, and they bet the under. But let's go ahead and dive into Terry Rozier. And before we get into that, I need to start doing this more. Please leave a like on the video. Comment your thoughts down below about the situation, because this is a crazy situation, probably the craziest in the past few years, and it's just going to continue to get more and more worse and more frequent, and we'll dive into all of that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Charlotte Hornets content and NBA coverage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you some screenshots that I will pop up here. The entire Terry Rozier saga started on March 23rd, 2023 versus the New Orleans Pelicans, where early into that game, Terry Rozier went down with a ankle injury, right? Early on in the game, and he went to the back, and he would stay out of the game for the entire night. Well, there was unusual betting. And the article goes into this a little bit later. The entire betting ring of 9 people placed $263,500 onto Terry Rozier's unders, which is astronomically crazy. Like that's a high percentage of under bets. And the sports book immediately saw this, and they reported it to the NBA, and the NBA did their investigation. They didn't really find anything, I guess. I don't know how, but whatever. Is what it is, man. But now the FBI has done their investigation, and they found Terry Rozier to do fraud, basically. So this is something to watch. And it's a bad look for the NBA when they did their investigation, didn't find any problems with it, but then the FBI is able to do their investigation and then to find something. But again, the NBA isn't the FBI, I understand that, but still, it just does not look good for them. So that's basically the whole entire situation with Terry Rozier, man. Basically, you have a player that is going out and is rigging games, basically. That's a no-no. That's not good, and we're gonna talk about kind of those things as a Twitter user. Kind of like forced me into a situation where I wanted to explain that, and I think it would be interesting we go ahead and we talk about my thought process of the issues I have with this. Okay, so here was my original post, basically saying that sports betting had destroyed pro sports, and a user on Twitter just said, "Oh, that's a terrible take. That doesn't even make any sense. Why? How is betting destroying the NBA? It's everyone's doing it. Blah blah blah." And I think he misunderstood or was just trolling. I don't know, whatever. But here was what I said in response, which basically I go all in and explain everything of how I feel on it. I said, for one, when you promote gambling on your platform because it brings in money, and Adam Silver, in my opinion, is extremely greedy and doesn't really care about expanding the game or making the game more inclusive for people who aren't rich, right? For people who grow up in not the best situations. Like I should be able to watch my favorite team or a local team pretty easily, but that's just not the case. He only really cares about financial profit, and last year he made comments to where really the only things he cares about is highlights. He views the game as highlight driven, which is just bonkers to me, just insane, because that's not what basketball is. There's a lot of deep stuff to basketball, and a lot of people care about that. A lot of people want to understand the game like I do. And it just sucks that is the perspective of the guy who's trying to grow our sport, which is wow, horrible. And so I continue on, and I say, it is insane to think players won't use/take advantage of it when the league itself is promoting it on NBA Finals presentations, halftime shows, and has an entire sports network that carries their regional games, is a sports betting company. The Charlotte Hornets, their entire season is covered by FanDuel Sports Network. And at halftime, are we having guys break down plays, like a normal halftime show? No, we're sitting here, I'm looking at over and unders. Brother, I do not give a darn. I do not care. Teach the game of basketball, right? Like, people who are watching, we want to see the clips. We want to see what is happening, not over and unders. And, you got the NBA on TNT last year. They were doing the same thing, over and unders at halftime. Like, bro, come on, man. We can do better than this, dog. And I continue on. They care more about money rather than actually teaching the game of basketball and having the young generation grow to love the sport like I did by being properly taught the game and grow a passion for it. 2. The way fans consume basketball due to this has watered down the enjoyment of sports in general, to where the only thing people care about is prop bets and players getting death threats and other things like that because they didn't hit a certain stat threshold. It's stupid and shouldn't be promoted. Like last year, I know this isn't really tied to it, but it's just like fans are crazy, man. Like, you had Caitlin Clark being, or it was the year before that, Caitlin Clark got stalked by someone, and Angel Reese, she's getting death threats. You had all those WNBA players going through that, and I'm certain of it, that there's weirdos on Twitter and sending emails, just being weird, man, because the players are kind of playing with people's money, man. But this is the environment that sports has created. This is the environment Adam Silver has created. The NFL, right? When you promote something that has to do with gambling, you're going to get crazy people. And these people aren't the best humans in general, man. So it's just kind of disgusting that a league is doing that. And I believe I touch on it later, but if not, I will dive into it because I think that it is the most important aspect of it, of this entire situation. Number 3, yes, players have thrown games for other reasons in the past, but now there is a extreme profit to doing it. Jameson Williams, Porter last year, Terry, and others, even Shohei Ohtani had a situation, and it's only going to get more frequent and probably worse because this has now become the culture of sports. They have done this. You know, and it's not going to stop, bro. And it is a terrible look for the NBA. Absolutely horrendous. Horrendous stuff. Gambling is a cancer and is an addiction. And it is disgusting. It is being promoted the way it has and has destroyed the sport. And for the NBA, it's an embarrassment that their players and coaches that they employ are getting arrested for the sins they commit. And the most importantly, this affects the product. Okay? It looks bad for the product. Okay? When it comes to competition, which is what these leagues are built off of, right? You had the whole thing a couple years ago with the NFL where it was scripted. I know it was a joke, but I mean, it was so bad. Like that's the problem with the betting, because now there's actually credence to that. There's actually levels of where you're like, man, this stuff's scripted, dog. Low key. You know what I mean? Because this gambling situation, it affects the integrity of competition, the integrity of the game. It is bad. It is not okay. It is not okay. It isn't. It isn't. Because when I'm watching sports, I have to believe what I'm watching is authentic, right? That it isn't scripted. That anything can happen. Anything is possible, right? And it's just a shame. This is what the NBA, they have laid their bed. Their greed has caused this, okay? These corporations, it has caused this. And don't give me that, oh, well, it makes money, so of course they're going to do it. Yeah, of course it makes money, right? And I'm not saying you can't have ads. You can't, have partnerships and stuff like that. There's many companies that have done it. WWE does it all the time. The difference is that you have to be cognitive of the type of companies that you align with. And am I oversaturating it? When we're partnering with these sports books, and it's the only thing we're talking about, bro, that is a problem, man. That is a problem, man. And in general, if I'm a businessman, I'm not partnering with a company that puts a negative light onto my product. And that's what these gambling companies have done, man. It is what it is, but it makes money. It makes money. It sucks. The NBA is in a bad spot right now. I'll tell you that right now. When it comes to a product, when it comes to just business-wise, like, yeah, you're breaking in a ton of money and stuff, but man, this is terrible. This is bad. This is bad. Thank you everyone for watching the video. If I'm wrong on some things, please enlighten me. Let me know, bro. Yeah, I'm Everything Buzz City. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, share the video with a friend. You already know the drill. I'm out. Have another video coming up soon, so I hope you guys like that. It's going to be LaMelo Ball related. So, peace out, boys and girls.